podcast, lady dudes. You're about to enjoy a podcast from the LOWTREE Studios Podcast Network. If you want more great podcast dudes and lady dudes and dudes and other peoples, go to LOWTREEstudios.com. It's the studios. Okay, goodbye.
Wreck My Podcast.
If you ever need a kids movie that has characters from A Clockwork Orange in the background, Space Jam 2 is perfect for you. This week on Wreck My Childhood.
Wreck My Podcast.
Welcome to Wreck My Podcast. For this week, we're just doing us, because that's the theme of this movie, I guess. Just do me. And we're doing Space Jam 2 or Space Jam A New Legacy or A New Generation or whatever the heck they call this movie. Yeah, New Legacy, whatever. I'm here with my guest this week. They call him Craw-G-er. It's Krager.
That was terrible.
Yeah, I know. Kind of like algae rhythm. I'm here with my other guest. They call him Joe, but it's spelled Jouex. It's Joe.
Nah. What's up, Doc?
And then I'm your host. They call me things I'm not allowed to say on this podcast. My name is Jordan. So we're not having Cam this week, which is probably okay because I'm sure this movie would just be him garbaging it the whole time, which I think the three of us might potentially do as well. So let's see.
Potentially.
Yeah, this movie just recently came out, like a week or two ago, and it's no secret that we love the first Space Jam. You know, we were kids when it came out, huge fans. We've done it on the show before. You know, we're Lola Bunny fans.
Yeah, we are.
But we also aren't body shaming Lola Bunny. You be however you want to be, Lola Bunny. We still find you attractive. We're not like other middle-aged men.
That was one of my biggest gripes is... Well, I guess I shouldn't say gripes, but like it was a little bit like, oh man, like they definitely un-90s sexified.
But the thing is that was we talked about this. That was not correct. Like it was the Mandela effect, where we remember her being super sexy and curvaceous because
she still had I remember in Space Jam she still had like a little like sexy like scene for like a little bit. Like
she had a sexy scene, but she also didn't have like badunkadunk and headlights like they portray in the freaking what's that called, DeviantArt, that like you always see when you search Lola Bunny.
Well, I wasn't talking about that. I was just more like
what you search in your own time.
Lola Bunny nude.
Well, also I just felt the one little gripe I have with that is I felt like they made a mistake because for most of the Looney Tunes characters, I'm not sure how I feel about it because I kind of like how they mixed in some new people, but I also like kind of like just like the OG people doing their jobs and stuff like that. Like Bugs Bunny was still like the OG guy, but like. Zendaya was Lola, and like I like
way to spoil that, man. I was gonna tell that later. Actually,
you know who brought up Lola Bunny? So
you know what's funny? Yeah, Zendaya voiced Lola Bunny, which was kind of
it didn't feel right.
No, it was jarring.
Zendaya.
To me.
I love Zendaya. Like she's awesome as MJ. So
she's also awesome in The Greatest Showman.
She's really great in that.
Yeah.
Also,
I've been wanting to see that.
like she's one of those people like I cannot tell if you're 12 or 40.
Exactly. Like, she has not aged since... What was that show she was on when she was a kid? Justice or Victorious? Or,
I think so.
You're asking the wrong people.
Yeah, something like that in Nickelodeon is where she got her start, or Disney. I can't remember which one it was. But, like, she has looked the same. And I'm with you. I'm like, I'm pretty sure she's close to 30 now, but she can play a 12-year-old and a 30 year-old. So
no,
it's
she's actually
weird.
young. Because I had Stacey and I watched Far From Home last week, and I checked. She is, I think, a 96 baby. So she's in her mid-20s.
So 25.
Another person?
Yeah.
Let me
Another person who's like that, where everyone would always say, every time I hear someone, they always say, "Oh, she's so hot," and I'm like, "She looks like she's 12." Is Ariana Grande?
Oh yeah, Ariana Grande definitely looks like she should still be in junior high.
Yeah.
And Selena
always
Gomez.
Rubs me the wrong way whenever everyone's like, "Oh, she's so hot." I was like,
Which is funny because
looks
I
like
don't
a
think,
child.
yeah, I don't think Ariana Grande is like super hot or anything, but
No,
I
not at
definitely
all.
think Ariana Grande has a great voice. Like she
Oh,
can do
yeah.
some crazy runs.
Yeah, September 1st, 96.
Yeah, there you go. So Zendaya, this was
She's
your
a wee little baby.
this was your pop music that could look like 12-year-olds talk for the podcast. So let's get into
I was disappointed that no one called Lola Bunny doll. That would have been a great throwback to the first one.
which is funny because they had some callbacks to the first one, so I thought they were
Mm-hmm.
going to lean a lot more into like, oh yeah, we've already done this, we're doing it again. But they only
Yeah.
I felt
kinda
like
tiptoed
they
around
did.
it.
They
Allude to that.
definitely like they were wishy-washy with it because like when Bugs Bunny is like, "Oh, you want us to help you in a basketball game?" Feels like we've done that before, but then they don't talk about it again until halftime of the game.
Yeah,
so
when Michael Jordan comes back.
yeah,
Michael B. Jordan.
Wrong Michael Jordan. Michael B.
Oh
Jordan.
man,
That was actually really funny.
Am I the only
I like that
alcoholic
the-
here drinking at 11 a.m.?
I guess so.
I have green tea.
I have
I went
water.
I went. Well, then I'm gonna do a quick beer review.
Oh, okay.
So I went to Jordan's favorite beer buying place, Sunrise Liquor or Sunrise Social, whatever it's called.
Yep. Sunrise
What's it
liquor.
Okay,
It's called
Liquor.
Sunrise.
And
Here, hang on.
this-
Hang on 1 second. Live on the podcast right now. Hey, babe, what's up?
Hey, did you already start the podcast?
Yep, we're recording right now.
Okay, then I'll let you go. I had a question for you, but I'll wait until after you're done.
Okay.
No, we want to hear the
Okay,
question
bye.
now.
Right.
Oh man,
It's going to be, does Krager have to be on it, or can I join?
All right, so your beer review.
Yeah. So this caught my eye, and I was like, I just got to get it. It's by Barrel Brothers Brewing Company
Ooh.
from Sonoma County. It is called Trends, like friends.
Oh, that's funny.
That is funny.
That's so cool.
It is the one where we made a slushy beer.
Oh, slushies. That's so big right now.
Mango strawberry slushy. I didn't know that these were a thing, and I saw them like, I got to try this. It
Is there
says
actually like ice in it? Like a
don't
slushy?
think so.
Slushy,
No,
slushy?
so.
Oh, you haven't even opened
Slushy
it yet.
beers are like super chunky and have a lot of like big floaties in them. Like there's a thing called Dream. No, what's it called? Dream, but with a J, or cream, or I forget how they pronounce it. But like, yeah, slushy beers are all the rage right now. They look gross to me, but like everyone loves them.
well, I'm gonna try them for the first time. On the back, it says, "How you doing?
Oh, nice.
Tune into your new guilty pleasure. What's not to like? Mango, good. Strawberry, good. Booze, good.
Lots of good Friends reference there.
It sucks. You're gonna love it. Tell your friends." Okay, cool. And
So you're
I
gonna
guess
pour this
I'm-
into a glass? Or you're gonna drink it out of the can?
Should I pour it into a glass?
It's up to you. I'm just asking.
That way we can see the floaties.
Yeah, I want to see if this thing is actually like got a lot of floaties
Pocock.
in it. Oh, nice.
It comes out like a chunky tomato soup.
Yeah.
That's like frozen.
God.
Like a gelatinous. You have to like shake it out of
Oh,
the can.
and it has like the rivets, like the jelly of the can.
Try this.
Ooh, it's
Sounds like he's
much
peeing.
brighter than I thought it was going to be. That is a shite pour, Beggs.
Yeah, just
Actually, it
straight
doesn't
up
even
and
look
down.
very
pour.
It has
foamy.
no carbonation.
Yeah, there's no
Yeah,
foam in
Spilled on
it.
my,
No
I
head.
spilled on my pee-pee.
There's the head.
Cleaning the chair with my butt. All right.
There you go.
So
For those watching the YouTube, yes, Krager does have a shirt on, but no pants.
No man.
no pants dance. Okay. Here we. Let's go. It looks like V8.
Oh yeah.
Isn't V8 red?
Yeah, I thought V8 was red too.
They have fruity V8s.
Ah.
It has the look of like a fruity V8.
You're a fruity V8.
It has the consistency of V8 juice.
Oh,
Is it
It doesn't
thick?
taste bad. It just doesn't taste like much.
oh, well, that's a bummer. I feel like slushies are supposed to have a really like tart and potent taste and everything.
Krager, is it chunky? Are there like floaties in it?
So far, no floaties, no chunkies. It just tastes like
Is it a thick beer?
like slightly carbonated like juice, like V8 juice.
Interesting.
Like the V8 Splash.
Like
You know, the V8 Splash?
like Despicable is for Pocock.
Yeah, kind of like
Like very
Despicable,
fruity?
but no what's the word I'm looking for? No, not a lot of like. There's pretty much no carbonation. I see a little bit of bubbly, but like there's pretty much no carbonation in this. It definitely it kind of reminds me a little bit of slightly less sweet Jamba Juice without the ice in it.
Interesting. So would you say you like it, or would you say not really your thing? Gotta take another sip to decide.
Honestly, it's just kind of there. It's
Okay.
nothing super special.
All right.
It kind of you know what it is. I think they tried to put too many flavors in there, and then they're just each overpowering each other, so it doesn't really have a flavor.
Yeah, and some beers, they have too many flavors, so it ends up just kind of like not being a good beer. Just like some movies have way too much intellectual property and product placement in it, makes it not a great movie. Bringing it back
Exactly.
to Space Jam
that
2.
was perfect.
This movie, the problem with this movie, it's basically one giant flex for Warner Brothers saying, "Look at what we own."
Okay, so before
Okay.
we get into the explains, can I do
Yeah.
IP Watch right now for you guys?
Sure, what's
IP Watch?
IP Watch.
Is that where we
Intellectual-
just like watch IP addresses
Yeah.
and see when they change?
IP
that? I
and
thought
you
that
guys
was
watch.
I thought it was just like, your OnlyFans. So
Krager,
Yep,
can
no.
you please give me a "Oh yeah. Oh yeah, brother." The brother is Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, wrong one. You go.
We need Macho Man.
Yeah, bone sauce ready.
Bone sauce rage.
There you go. Okay, so intellectual property watch. I wrote down all the intellectual properties I could find in this movie. I'm sure I did not catch even half of them, but I
No,
saw.
this thing is Easter egg galore.
Yeah, it's crazy. I saw Harry Potter. I saw Matrix. I saw Casablanca. I saw Batman. I saw Steve Jobs in the Genius Bar. I saw Star Trek. I saw Superman, Aquaman, Green Lantern, Flash. There was Mad Max. There was Austin Powers. Rick and Morty shows up. Game of Thrones. Wonder Woman. The original Space Jam with the Monstars. Scooby-Doo. Iron Giant. King Kong. Yogi Bear. Flintstones. Jetsons. Gremlins. Pennywise. Clockwork Orange, Bill Belichick reference, Wizard of Oz, The Mask, Alice in Wonderland. Those were all
You
the
already
properties.
see the Matrix?
I saw the Matrix is up at the front there.
Did you see Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze in there?
Mr. Freeze was in
Yeah.
there. Yeah, the Penguin, the Danny
Penguin
DeVito
was in there.
Penguin was there.
That was actually a really accurate Penguin.
Yeah.
My biggest gripe with all of these is
King
quite
Kong too,
possibly
obviously.
one of their top 10, I would say, as far as, I don't know, maybe top 10, more than top 10 for me, but I'd say for average person, maybe top 20, is they gave such a blink and you'll miss it to Back to the Future. I was so I felt so disrespected.
I didn't even
where it
see
was
it.
just
It was the
It's really
DeLorean
wild.
for like a hot second,
Yeah.
right?
No, what it was is like one of the goon squads made. I think it was when it was Dame Time. He made like a play dealing with time, and they said like it was like back to they do like the scoreboard thing, and it was like Back to the Future font with the DeLorean going by saying like back to the basket.
Yeah, it was
And, like,
Kronos who did that. The like,
yeah, and I was all
clock
like,
dude.
that's literally you literally had a ride at Universal Studios forever, and it's like one of the best, in my opinion, one of the 5 to 10 best trilogies of all time. And
That ride was good,
You
too.
gave it a blink and you miss it little thing in it. I felt that really was one of the things that really just pissed me off. I was all like, I feel attacked.
Yeah. Well, let's move into me explaining the movie real quick here, and then we'll kind of talk about our thoughts on it all.
Oh yes, it's time for Jordan to explain the movie quickly.
Inside the Warner Brothers serververse, a rogue algorithm kidnaps LeBron James and his son. The algorithm, named Algorithm, says if LeBron can beat him at virtual basketball, he can have his son back. LeBron finds Bugs Bunny, who helps him get a team together of Looney Tunes to play basketball against Algorithm. All while LeBron's doing that, his son is being fooled by Al to play against his dad in the basketball game. Now we get to the basketball game, and somehow everyone from the real world is sucked into the serververse to watch the game. It's Goon Squad versus Toon Squad, it's style versus fundamentals, so LeBron has to learn to play the game with some style. And now, Al raises the stakes. If LeBron loses, then everyone is stuck in the serververse. Once the Toon Squad decides to play Looney, they start winning. LeBron has a heart-to-heart with his son, and they make up, and his son Dom is now on the Toon Squad. In the end, they use a glitch to win the game, and Dom gets a chance to live out his own dreams. Okay, so what did you guys think of this movie overall? I mean, I think we'll probably give it a little bit of a better score than we would have originally because we are Space Jam fans, or maybe we'll give it a worse score just because it maybe tarnishes it a little bit more. But what did you guys think of it?
Well, see, for me, something I've learned about myself, and just kind of like, if I think something's going to be bad, and then I just kind of like, in my mind, I'm like, okay, it's going to be bad, and I go in with very low expectations, I tend to enjoy it a little bit more, which happened with this. I had very, very minimal expectations after watching the trailers I saw. I'm like, this is definitely super geared towards kids nowadays, not a whole lot thrown, not super gauged towards the original Space Jam fans, which I'm fine with. Is giving another generation their own Space Jam, which, and like, I thought the premise was kind of, as a video game advocate kind of guy who loves video games, I kind of liked how they're like showing that, like, you know, you can kind of, if you enjoy video games, it's like kind of a nice thing, you know, not really like shaming, you know, do what you are passionate about. But I don't know. It just
I felt like the opposite. I felt like they were saying, "Oh, you can't be good at something if you also like to play video games." Like that was the whole premise until the very, very end. It was like, "Oh, don't waste your time.
You can't do more than one thing."
Yeah, when that's not true at all. There's so many athletes that are like big old nerds.
Yeah, that's
look at Damian Lillard. He's one of the best basketball players, and he is huge into rap music and producing.
There you go.
Yeah, Juju Smith-Schuster is like crazy on like Twitch and stuff like that, and video games and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you think, Joe?
Overall, so I kind of was like Krager. I went into this with, I wouldn't say low expectations. I basically went in with no expectation. Mm-hmm. I wasn't expecting a good movie. I wasn't expecting a bad movie either. I was just essentially expecting to have fun. And I got exactly what I wanted. Essentially, it was entertaining for me just because there was so many properties that I was familiar with. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really exactly like the whole Warner Brothers flexing. I think it took over too much of the movie. It was like too much of a premise of it. Yeah. It would have been nice if it was more just kind of the cameo and the Easter egg thing, but it definitely took over too much of the storyline. But overall, I didn't mind it because at the end of the day, it's a kids movie. This movie wasn't made for us.
No.
Yeah.
So it made sense why it was an AI. It made sense why it was video games. It made sense why, you know, kind of all the decisions they made. It was made for kids. This is, you know, the YouTube generation. This is what they are going to be interested in. You can't make a story about, you know, cartoon aliens coming to a cartoon world. It's not going to work for this new generation.
Yeah. Well, I thought, you know, here's the thing, and I do agree, it's a movie meant for kids, and we all kind of know that. But the problem, like just the first one was as well. The problem is, I saw the runtime before I started watching it, 2 hours. And I'm like, okay, that's not a kids movie runtime. This needed a half hour cut out, definitely.
What would you cut out?
There's so much of this story, like all the Warner Brother properties, like you were saying, we can cut back on a lot of that and just pick things that are relevant and funny and stick with that. Also, the whole basketball game took so freaking long. It's like
so long.
And it took forever to set up the premise too. Like I feel like they were in the real world setting up the whole like algorithm and the Warner Brother executives like so much, and then also bringing in like his family and stuff. Like I'm like, okay, I don't know. I feel like there was a lot of stuff where they were just like, well, we really don't want to cut this out because we either have people that we casted that we really like, or like we really want to show off what properties we have at Warner Brothers.
What I was kind of shocked about is like LeBron's son, Bronny Jr., like he's, you know, on Twitter, like he is the character of Dom.
Yeah, he's like a basketball player.
He's gonna probably be when he gets drafted in like a year or two. He's gonna be the number 1 overall pick. But also, he's on FaZe Clan. He is a gamer. Like he is like super big into gaming. So I was really shocked he wasn't in the movie as one of LeBron James's kids. Like I was like,
he was too old.
To be the older
bought-
son? No, he could have
Yeah.
been. He could have been the older son just to be in the movie.
That's
I was
true.
shocked. Like the older son didn't have that much in it. I don't
Yeah.
see why they didn't make Bronny Jr. the older son.
I agree with that. And I also thought, like, so the runtime kind of got me because I watched it over 2 days. I watched it an hour and an hour. But I was like, if I had to watch this whole thing 2 hours just straight through, I would get a lot more bored than I was.
Oh, I was so bored. When
Yeah,
when the game went to halftime, I'm like, wait, the game's not over?
Yeah.
Like this is just halftime?
Oh, I didn't get bored.
And you know what's interesting? For how much, like, intellectual property there is in this movie and stuff, it's not very self-referential. There's very few times they kind of, like, do meta jokes and break the fourth wall, which is what they did in the first one a lot.
Yeah.
You know why? It's because, yes, it's a kids movie. They made a kids movie, but they wanted to put all those references into their properties, like in the background and things like that, so that the people like us, the parents, can recognize it and see it and, have fun with it that way. 'Cause
I guess,
the kids aren't going to know
You know what it feels
what
like
some of
to
these
me?
properties are.
Game of Thrones, Mad Max, no kid, Pennywise, no kid, no like 8-year-old should be knowing who these things are.
You know
Those
what
were
it
all
feel-
made for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were all
You know
put
what
in the
it
movie
feels-
for the parents.
It feels like to me that they saw what Marvel did with Captain Marvel, where they sprinkle in a bunch of '90s references, but like not like overpowering in your face. It was like it was there and like fun, and then they're like, "Ooh, people like that," and then they just like, "We're gonna overdo it."
Yeah, this was too much. It was way too much for me.
But
This-
some of
you
it
know what it
was...
felt like? Go
Some
ahead,
of
Jeff.
it was good. Foghorn Leghorn as Daenerys Targaryen was
That
funny.
was Foghorn Leghorn, Mother of Dragons. That was funny.
I say, winter is coming.
A lot of it just fell flat though. Like seeing freaking Coyote in like Mad Max Fury Road, I'm like, this looks awful. This looks so stupid. I
I
do
kind
not
of thought
like
that
this.
was funny.
I
thought
didn't
it
mind
was
that
funny.
either. I liked
would-
that kind of stuff.
I thought
What
it was
Granny in the
what it-
Matrix.
What it was to me is purely just Warner Brothers trying to punch above their weight class. Like, hey, we can be like Disney too. We have all these things, and everyone's like, Warner Brothers, stay in your place, calm down.
That's exactly what it made me feel like, or that's exactly what I thought too. I was like, you have Disney Plus flexing all of their stuff with Disney, all the properties they have. It felt like Warner Brothers was just like, hey guys, we're here too. We have a lot.
Yeah, we have Harry Potter. So I agree. I'm just here's the thing that was really bad too, but also I can't really fault the movie for it because it's true in Space Jam, the original as well, and I still like it. I thought LeBron James's acting was just atrocious, but I mean Michael Jordan's acting was pretty bad in
Yeah.
Space Jam. So I can't blame them. They're not actors. Like LeBron James has never been the lead in a movie before.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which I would
agree with
actually
that.
I would actually say I felt LeBron James did good for who he is. I thought he did a good job for being a professional athlete and doing this during COVID and basketball season. So
Yeah, that's the other thing too. What I was gonna say is he has acted in other roles, supporting roles, which he's done fine and he's done great. I do agree as like a main character, I think there still needs to be a little bit more to the acting chops, but I mean, for what it was, for what this movie is, I didn't think he did bad.
Yeah.
No,
I was
It's no worse than what Michael Jordan did.
No, exactly, and that's why I can't fault him for it. Like Michael Jordan acted just as poorly as LeBron James did,
Yeah,
so it's
they're-
not the end of the world.
Basketball players, they're not actors.
Yeah, I thought I was a little bummed because I didn't assume Michael Jordan would show up for this. But what I'm a little bummed about is that they didn't get a Bill Murray cameo in it. I'm like, if you're not going to do Michael Jordan, at least get Bill Murray in
if you
there.
watch the credits, they have a picture of Bill Murray golf with a golf ball in his mouth on a golf course and Bugs Bunny next to him, but it doesn't really
Bill
count.
Murray,
No.
they should have had Bill Murray come in, when everyone was getting like zapped into it from their phones. They should have had him come into it in like his golf outfit from like the
Yes.
same thing and be like, not again.
Exactly. It would be so funny. It'd be great. I would love that.
Actually, that was one of my complaints about this compared to the first one. One of the things that I love about the first one was everything that they're doing in Toon World, they still interacted and did stuff with the real world, coming to Michael Jordan's home when they abducted the players, their players and all, seeing how they reacted in the real world without having their talent. I wish they would have done more of that with this one. Like how they have, Anthony Davis, Klay Thompson, they have all these players that, they use. They themselves aren't even are in the movie for 5 seconds.
I think they voice themselves.
They voice themselves, and then they themselves are only in the movie for 5 seconds. I wish it would have
barely.
showed a little bit more of what the outside world was doing outside of them running around Warner Brothers Studios.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I feel like this movie definitely meant to be a kids movie. I just think I personally don't think it was executed as well as the first Space Jam. But I mean, again, who are we to say? We are adults in 2021 trying to look at a new kids movie without the lens of nostalgia for this movie, which already kind of knocks it down a bit.
Yeah, its nostalgia was huge. What scenes did you actually like?
Let's go with that.
I thought it was visually very fun. I think a lot of like the basketball sequence stuff with all the animation they were doing and everything, I thought was very, very good. I think the Michael B. Jordan scene was funny because like I knew with the moment they were like, "Oh, I got Michael," I'm like, "It's Michael B. Jordan," and I like that guy a lot, so I thought that was kind of funny.
Good.
I also really liked when Sarah Silverman and Steven Yeun were in this as executives. I thought that was good. I actually really did not like Don Cheadle's performance at all. I know some people liked it, but I was not a huge fan of it. But yeah, there were some funny moments that I did like, but they were few and far between for how long this movie was. I think you could have condensed it and it would have been a lot better.
Another thing I actually just remembered I did not like, that half the movie was 100% animated.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than the first one where only the Looney Tunes were animated.
Which I was fine with. I was fine with LeBron James being like animated for a bit, but like, I don't know. I just think this suffers from them dragging stuff on way too long. It should have been a lot more quick.
I agree with that.
Agreed.
Yeah. So here's some things I noticed that while we were watching this movie. It primarily starts like the same way as the first Space Jam, where like, hey, our main character is a kid and being like, hey, you're going to be an amazing player. And then like all this like music with all these like highlight clips, but they didn't play Space Jam. Like, why didn't they play the song? Like, pump the jam, pump it up. Like, come on.
The music in the first one is one of the best parts about it.
Yeah, and I was very I thought the music was good in this one, but like they started at one point they started the Space Jam song, and then they didn't finish it.
I know. I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, so I was a little bummed about that. I thought that I thought it was weird that one of the premises of the movie is that like people watching this get sucked into the serververse, because I'm like, I want to see what's happening in the real world right now. Like, is some
That's
dude
what I was saying.
Yeah, some dude in the cockpit of a plane pops his phone out real quick and then gets sucked in. It's like, now this plane's gonna crash. It's like the blip from Marvel. I'm like, what is happening?
I want to see Kevin Harlan calling a game, and then all of a sudden gets sucked out of the game.
Well, I want to see like the fatal effects that are happening, like everyone in their car, like turning the game on.
I want to see the real world effects of it.
Yeah.
One thing that turned me off so much is the fact that like, so everyone gets sucked in, and then before Dom comes out, Don Cheadle's character tells everyone like, hey, if the Bronze team doesn't win this, then everyone who I sucked in here has to stay here forever. And everyone's like, oh my god, no. Well then, during the first half, when the Goon Squad's doing good, all this crowd is cheering. I'm all like, did y'all just forget that like if the Goon Squad wins, you're all stuck here?
Half the crowd is the intellectual property Warner Brothers, who are the fans of the Goon Squad. The other half, the other side, is the real life people.
Okay.
To Krager's point, that was something that I didn't feel like they didn't really have an idea of what they were doing. They're like, we need the consequence if they lose. So it's going to be everyone who's here, has to stay here. They're like, okay, that's good. Wait a minute.
Well,
why does the Looney Tunes even need to play then? They're like, crap. Well, in addition, the Looney Tunes get it deleted.
Yeah, but
okay,
also,
that'll work.
That was stupid. That was stupid.
That was
too,
so
because
dumb.
At the end, Bugs gets deleted, but then comes back. He's like, "I told you, I'm a Looney Tune. Nothing
I'm
can
a
hurt me." I'm
tune.
like, "So what were they worried about?"
They didn't even explain it. It was just like, it's fine. People won't care. I'm like,
That part was very poor writing.
Yeah, very poor writing. Also, like, I was like, Dominic, his son, is willing to destroy the planet to prove a point to his father.
well, no, they kept him in the dark about what was going to happen.
I don't think so. I think if he's smart enough to make a video game, I think he could have clued in on what was going on.
Yeah, they they definitely decided to be very selective with what is logical and not logical.
Yeah.
But then again, it is a Looney Tunes movie, so.
Yeah, so I thought that was weird. I think my biggest
Yeah, you
gripe
could-
was just the inconsistency with the writing. It was like they just didn't know where they
Yeah.
were going with it.
That's exactly it. Had no idea where they were going.
Yeah. So let's talk about some info of this movie here. It came out July 16th, 2021. So, we're getting on this one early, but not as early as we could have because we're covering this earlier than the Elite 8 Showdown would cover it. So
There you go.
That's good.
That's not saying much.
I know. It had a $150 million budget. 150.
Wow. That's a lot of scratch.
Now, but
a lot
here's
of
the
money.
thing. Isn't it not being shown in China or something? So they're losing like a huge profit?
It could, I don't know. It had a worldwide gross for the opening weekend.
I don't know if I heard that or something about that where China, they
I don't
didn't
think
like
so,
something
because-
about it and it's not being...
I can't think of anything
In
because they
theaters
didn't
in
really
China.
do anything against China.
No, but sometimes China, like they were really big on censorship for a long time. So it's only been recently that movies have kind of
they
been
were? I
allowed
had no
in.
idea.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so weird. So it says it made a $31 million budget opening weekend in the theaters. That's not into account, all of us that watched it on HBO Max. Just theaters was $31 million, which is not bad at this day and age right now.
No,
for
not
a
bad at all. I
theatrical
think
opening.
if with that big of a budget, them having it free on HBO definitely doesn't make any sense with that big of a budget. Like,
Yeah.
you know how much money they lost for that? Like that, I don't know how they're gonna make that money back.
Yeah, I don't either, but I don't know. So what do you guys think this has got on Rotten Tomatoes?
Ooh.
I'm gonna say critic 23
You're
and
close to what I was
audience
going to say.
29.
Okay. Joe, what do you
No, audience is gonna be higher. Audience is gonna be higher. I'll go 35 for the audience.
Oh, dang it. You're so close to every number. So I was originally going to say critic 22, audience 33. I'm going to keep the audience 33, but I'm going to change this since Krager had his. I'm going to change this to critic 17, audience 33.
Okay. Well, critic is 29%, so you guys aren't too far off. It was very, very low.
I was gonna say 20. Damn it.
Yeah, critic was very low. Audience score, right now, it is new, 81%.
Jesus.
So
I had
it's
a bad feeling
100%
about
nostalgia.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think the
It's the
longer
nostalgia
we let
factor.
this movie sit, the lower that score
drop.
is going to go down.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is so funny because like I listen to Sports Talk Radio and like the couple people I listen to have all like not said great things about it. So
Yeah, I wasn't. I think that it's just like those early adopters who were super psyched to see it, and then as more normal people kind of watch it, they're going to put like crappier reviews on there. This was,
Nostalgia's huge right now, too.
oh yeah, and we're all kind of still a little bit cooped up. Like things are just getting back to normal and all that. So
Yeah.
people are
they
willing
were.
to-
Now they're closing back down.
well, in some areas, not in Texas.
Lucky.
So this was directed by Malcolm D. Lee. He also directed Undercover Brother.
Oh, I love that. Oh, that's a movie I don't know if it'll hold up, but I remember
Oh my
loving
God.
that movie.
Yep.
I'd
More
be down
recent-
to watch that again.
Yeah, more recently he directed Night School with Kevin Hart.
Oh, I saw that.
That sounds about right. They
got
both seem like movies.
Yep. Well, actually, the writer of the movie, I think his name was Terry Nance. He was directing it at the beginning, and then there was some creative differences. Like the studio, I'm assuming, wanted him to put a lot more of their intellectual property in it than he had written into it. And
It sounds like LeBron James just got former Laker Larry Nance to change his name and write it.
Yep, that's what it was. No, so this dude was supposed to direct it.
Warner Brothers definitely does have way too much control over its properties in regards to production. Wasn't that the problem with Snyder Cut?
Oh yeah, definitely. If you're talking about like the DC universe, for sure. Mm-hmm.
And then trying to change things up on this director and writer, so they had to get a different director.
Yep. Yeah.
Why,
they had to-
Warner Brothers, why do you keep doing this?
I know it doesn't really help you out ever, but yeah, the
Warner Brothers got a Warner brother.
When has it worked for you
yeah.
yet?
When has it been a good idea? We'll see what happens with Dune when that comes out, because that's supposed to be like a huge movie coming out soon. So
Dune and The
I
Matrix.
have
We'll see how
low
much Warner Brothers
expectations.
dip their fingers in there.
yeah, we have Don Cheadle played Algie Rhythm. He's from Crash. He's from the Marvel movies. He's from the Ocean's movies. We have so I like this casting, but she really wasn't in it long. Was Sonequa Martin Green, who plays LeBron's wife. She's from The Walking Dead. She's from Star Trek Discovery, but also best role she ever played was Rhonda from New Girl. You just got Rhonda.
Oh my god, I forgot about Rhonda.
Oh, I love it so much.
Man.
We had Sarah Silverman show up. Everyone knows her from like the Sarah Silverman program or the Sarah program or whatever the heck that was called.
Sarah Silverman show,
whatever it was called. She was in School of Rock. She was in 500 other things. I'd say
Wreck-It Ralph.
Wreck-It Ralph. She voiced
the lead.
I'd say she's probably one of the bigger female comedians, more popular female comedians.
She was one of the first big ones.
Yeah, definitely. We have Stephen Yeun, who plays Glenn in The Walking Dead, also with Sarah Silverman. I'm a huge fan of him as an actor. He's really good. We have Lil Rel Howery, the game announcer, the dude who, the guy with the glasses who was announcing with the other dude. I love him because like he's my favorite character in Get Out. Anything he's in.
He's funny. He's really
so funny. He's so good. I love that guy. Zendaya, Lola Bunny, we talked about her. This was interesting. So they got rid of Pepe Le Pew because, the whole Me Too movement. They thought like, okay, we're not going to have Pepe Le Pew. But they kept in Speedy Gonzalez, which is also kind of like a racist stereotype. But they had Gabriel Iglesias voicing him, which I'm like, does that make it less racist? Gabriel Iglesias.
At least they got a Hispanic person to voice a Hispanic character,
Yeah.
Plus, he's all about voices too, so he was the perfect choice.
Yeah. I actually thought that one I thought made sense as far as I'm all like, it's people like him. He's funny. He's good at voices, so it's fine. And apparently now in society, if you are not the race of the character you are voicing, you can't do it. So.
I mean, I kind of am okay with that, though.
For me, I definitely don't think it's a bad thing necessarily, but I think if you're just doing it based on race and not on their skill as a voice actor, I think then is where it can get dicey.
I guess it's different. Hey, what is going on back there? I guess it's different if, you're saying, okay, this white person can do a good Chinese accent. That's a legitimate Chinese accent actually speaking Chinese, rather than someone doing a stereotypically racist Chinese accent where it's like Feng Yong Chu or whatever, just like the racist type stuff. Like, okay, that's where we got to draw the line here.
Yeah, I feel like it is just it's a muddy line now where I don't even know what's right and wrong anymore when it comes to that.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. Someone the other day said African American, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's preferred to be called black now. Like, not all people who are black in America are from Africa. So I think that's actually like the worst thing you should be saying. But we grew up with that. It's like, oh, that's the politically correct way. I'm like, well, why was that the politically correct way of saying things?
Yeah.
I've always hated that the whole African American, Latin American, any American, like. Can't we all just be Americans? Just call us Americans.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we are.
America.
Yeah, so I can totally agree with... I'm happy Gabriel Iglesias voiced this, because if it was some white dude doing Speedy Gonzalez, I probably would be like, ooh, sheesh. You know what's interesting? You know what's interesting? So, do you guys know who... In 2019, there was an animated Wonder Woman film, I think called Bloodlines or Blood Ties. Do you know who voiced Wonder Woman in that?
A lady.
Gal Gadot.
No, it was Rosario Dawson, who reprised the voice role for this movie. Rosario Dawson.
That's awesome.
Yeah, of now
Mandalorian
fame. Also, she was in the Marvel universe before that too, as Night Nurse or whatever. Even though they never really called her Night Nurse. But yeah, I thought that was cool. Rosario Dawson was voicing Wonder Woman in this, and she recently had done it in another movie, which is super cool. Rick and Morty was actually voiced by Justin Roiland. He came in and did some.
That's cool.
Some lay down for it. So I was like, nice. Cool. Good on you, Justin.
I didn't even know they were a Warner Brothers property.
Me neither. I guess.
I mean, I know they're on HBO Max, but
yeah, is that because they own HBO Max? But I'm like, where did they originally? I thought Comedy
Rick
Central.
Rick and Morty's on HBO Max.
Yeah.
Oh, that's how I can watch the new season.
Yeah, weren't they originally on Comedy Central though? I can't remember where they premiered.
No, I thought it was
Adult Swim.
FX. Oh, Adult Swim. There you go.
You're right, Adult Swim, which I'm pretty sure Warner Brothers owns that too, because they had all the Hanna-Barbera stuff on this movie, and that was on Cartoon Network. So
HBO Max has Robot Chicken and all those things.
Oh, okay, then they do.
I have a voice thing that you probably didn't really know much about, Jordan. That's because you don't know a lot about it. The security guard.
Jeez.
When I explain why, you'll know. The security guard, who was getting in a fight with LeBron's assistant, Malik. That's the guy who voiced Lamar in the Grand Theft Auto game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would have never known
San
that.
Andreas.
Exactly. Yeah. No, and then in the new Grand
Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah, Lamar, the character.
Odom.
I thought that was
Jr.?
kind of cool.
Yeah. So some producers here that I was kind of surprised by. Ryan Coogler was a producer on this movie. He directed Creed and Black Panther, so he's a pretty big director these days.
Coogster.
Yeah, the Coogster. Justin Lin was an executive producer. Fast and the Furious fame. Like, dude who did all the good Fast and Furious movies, including Tokyo Drift, which I still say is one of my favorite ones ever.
No, I don't think Justin Lin did Tokyo Drift.
He did. I just recently rewatched it. He directed it.
Tokyo.
I love it. Yeah, they sing that song so much in that movie.
Oh, man.
And then
that movie's so bad it's good, man.
I know, that's why I love it. And then I was surprised by this. Ivan Reitman was a producer, Ghostbusters and Kindergarten Cop director.
Ah.
Like, what are these producers? Why are there so many producers?
What are these amazing people?
They're all part of
greenlighting
Warner Brothers
this?
properties.
That's probably it, because they had the Ghostbusters back there. That's probably why.
I feel like they're just Warner Brothers just like has some contractual blackmail on them, like, hey, you got to put your name on it, but it's not good. Doesn't matter.
I bet you that's what it was. I bet
Probably.
you there was like, hey, if we're going to use your property, you have to have one of our directors to make sure it's represented, or producers to make sure it's represented correctly.
Yeah, because do they own the Rocky franchise with Creed? I wonder.
That is a good question. I actually
Maybe
don't
that's how
know.
they got Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler on this.
Yeah, if they own it, it would make sense.
Yeah. All right, so I got some fun facts about this movie for you guys.
What is facts? Baby, they're fun. They're fun. Oh yeah. What is facts? Baby, they're fun. They're fun. Oh yeah.
Fun facts.
So, Kath Soucie, who was the original voice of Lola Bunny, was set to reprise her role and had actually recorded the majority of the dialogue, but for unknown reasons, which I'm sure we'll find out down the line when like a story comes out, they replaced her with Zendaya at the last minute in post-production. So we want the Lola cut. Give us the Lola cut.
We want the Lola
The
cut
Lola cut.
for sure. Also, I did not like when the Looney Tunes were 3D. I did not like that one bit.
I didn't mind it. It was like the Scoob makeover, that everyone's.
I thought that was way better.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought it was fine. I liked it because, speaking of animation, the lighting effects on Looney Tunes characters were done by Industrial Light and Magic in this movie, which is the company
cool.
ILM Star Wars. But it's the first time that ILM has done lighting effects on a 2D animation character since Who Framed Roger Rabbit 33 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. So Bob Bergen is the only voice actor returned from the original Space Jam. He voiced Tweety in both movies.
Not even the same Bug. Did the Bugs Bunny guy die or something?
I'm pretty sure the guy who originally voiced Bugs Bunny died like in the early 2000s. It's the new guy who's doing all the new Looney stuff. Like Looney Tunes has new episodes coming out, and it's like the new guy who's voicing on that is doing this as well. Did you guys know Warner Brothers originally had ideas after Space Jam was so popular to do one called Skate Jam with Tony Hawk?
Oh my god.
They had one called Race Jam with Jeff Gordon. And this one called Golf Jam, which I'm like, was that going to be Tiger Woods?
Oh my god. Warner Brothers, go home.
I know,
You're
that's so
drunk.
bad. That's so bad.
I'm glad none of those made it through.
I'm so glad too. All right, so the original Space Jam director, Joe Pytka, said it took him 5 attempts to watch this movie all the way through. He's got some shade to throw here. He said,
Oh yeah, I heard about this.
yeah, he said LeBron James was not a big enough celebrity to carry the film the way that Michael Jordan did, adding,
That's not true.
He
that's
says,
not true.
the truth is that LeBron ain't Michael. He also said
That part's true.
He also said that he criticized the new film's soundtrack as insignificant. And he said the new version of Bugs Bunny looks like one of those fluffy dolls you buy at an airport gift shop to bring home to your kid when you're on a business trip that has taken too long. He
is also
was
true.
not a fan.
This just sounds like he was just trying to make himself relevant again.
He was
'Cause,
just being petty.
LeBron James is one of the biggest stars out there nowadays. The soundtrack was probably just geared towards the younger generation. The Bugs Bunny looked a little weird, but I didn't have anything negative to say. I wouldn't say it was bad. It did, and like I felt they did a good job of not trying to make LeBron James Michael Jordan. They didn't try and like, oh, LeBron James is the new Michael Jordan. No, they did that. I felt they did a good job at least of making this its own entity and not trying to piggyback off of the old one.
Yeah, I agree
I think
with
that they did a good job of that. So I think everything you said is just
Plus
him
they
being
even-
a salty little bitch.
Yep.
They
I
even
think
have
so.
the joke of them trying to bring Michael back.
Yeah. I honestly feel like LeBron is a bigger name recognition than Michael Jordan at this point.
I don't know. In
I'd
the
say to the
90s,
to the
Michael
non-sports
was-
people, I would say yes, but even like no, like
even the non-sports people in the 90s knew who Michael Jordan was.
I guess the only difference is people still like Jordans. Like his name is on so many like products that are still relevant today. Where LeBron, what does he have? Like, does he have anything that's like a product that's based off of him? I don't think.
Well, I
he
mean,
does.
he has shoes. He owns a lot of different companies, but
Yeah,
none of them
but-
actually have like his name on it.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
not
Maybe
from what
Michael
I can
Jordan
think
is
of.
a bigger name than
he is
LeBron
because like
James.
when The Last Dance came out during quarantine, like it was so huge and it reminded people how amazing Michael Jordan was.
Yeah, and
Granted, it was
I mean, there's-
produced by him. so
everyone
it's
wanted to
made
be
look
like Mike.
Yeah, it's made to make him look good. So, but still, no. Like, I see. Like, I think we get too caught up in like trying to like compare athletes and stars and other things like that. No, they are their own people. They're both really amazing and they're both really popular. They don't have to be competing.
Yeah, I agree. It's different generations. It would be interesting to see like at their primes, which one could one-on-one game. You know, it's
Yeah.
kind of like what we do with pro wrestling, where it's like fantasy booking, where you're like, oh man, I wish Ric Flair in his prime would go up against like Seth Rollins in his prime or something. I don't know, like
Yeah.
stupid stuff like that. Yeah.
I don't think there's any other athlete you could have used for this.
Oh no.
No, definitely not.
In any
also,
sport.
Joe, I want to get your opinion. What do you think of LeBron James having his bed in the middle of the room?
What do you
I thought
mean?
that
That's
was
the best way to do it.
I was all.
If,
that's
if
all. I was
my
all-
bedroom
at
was
first, I'm
big
like-
enough, my bedroom would be right in the middle of the room.
I was at first. I'm like, what is this? I'm like, oh, more room for activities. I see.
Also, more room for people to get out on both sides.
Yeah, hands down.
I'm
if
saying
my
most.
bedroom was big
No,
enough,
I'm
it'd
saying
be in the
as
middle.
far as nothing behind the bed is more like you don't see that very often.
Oh, I get what you mean. Like middle of the room, like right in the middle. Yeah.
Yes,
It's also because
exactly.
we don't know anyone with a bedroom big enough.
True. Also, I have a reoccurring thing between this movie and the other movie we watched. Should have had an epilepsy warning.
Yes. Yeah, the movie we're going to be covering in the next episode we're recording definitely had a lot of strobe light effect going on in some sense.
And also we need to address the fact that when LeBron is in Marvin the Martian ships with Bugs and he has a whiteboard picking his team, he writes down Trinity over Neo.
Well,
Yeah, you would definitely take Neo over Trinity.
yeah, I would definitely take Neo.
Yeah,
for
I was
sure.
like, LeBron, what you doing?
Yeah, I think that's a little
He can
crazy.
fly.
But also, I don't know. I just said I watched Reloaded last night. Trinity's still pretty good.
Oh yeah,
she's
Just
still
not
pretty
knocking Trinity, but Neo's still the
No.
better one.
Yeah,
clearly
Neo's
the
the
right
one.
choice.
Neo is the one.
Oh no, Granny's the one.
Yes.
Question, Jordan, in your research, do you know if that was actually LeBron's house?
So I did see when I looked up filming locations, it said LeBron James's Akron, Ohio house.
That wasn't even his L.A. home?
No, that's apparently, if IMDb is to be believed, that's his Akron, Ohio house. But it had the palm trees and everything. It made it look like it was his house.
See, no, I think it might have been a different house. I don't know. All I know is that makes sense. You don't want an aerial view of LeBron James' house for all the world to see.
That's true.
That's dangerous.
Like, that's why I didn't think
granted-
it was his actual house,
granted,
but I
you can-
thought it would be cool if
you
it
can-
was.
I'm pretty sure that stuff's like takes 5 minutes on Google to find out where his actual house is, but still.
Well, even
Getting there
though
would
it
be
still
hard.
could be, his actual house that it was filmed at. Just the aerial shot would have been different,
Could have been, an aerial shot of LA, but like the inside of the house was like filmed at his
hold on.
actual
or the
house.
basketball
they
court
can't-
area is different.
But
Yeah.
but guys, they can't have an aerial shot. She's a Disney property.
Ah, good lord. All right. Last fun fact here is that at the end, if you make it all the way to the end of the credits, there's a drawing of a crown and a carrot for King James and Bugs Bunny, and that's the little thing at the end of the credits there.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's Space Jam 2. I think that it's not one we're ever going to probably revisit. Because
Did it wreck your Space Jam?
yeah, I was gonna ask that. It didn't wreck my Space Jam because I can still go watch the original whenever I want. But it kind of did make me think like, yeah, sometimes sequels just aren't great.
Yeah.
See, I'm just very indifferent. It
Mm-hmm.
is its own property, and I thought it did mostly what it was trying to do, which is more just make a Space Jam for the younger generation.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that. Like, it's not one I'm ever gonna revisit, but I'm cool that I watched it.
Yeah, I wonder how well this was recepted for its target audience.
Well, you know what? We should take a van and hand out candy and ask children what they thought of this movie.
You know, I've been thinking that's a good idea. I want to buy one of those vans
Only if it's
without
windowless.
window.
Yeah.
We'll see. No, yeah, I've been wanting to buy one of those windowless vans, and like all of our friends are having kids now. I could start driving around for daycare for them all. And have beds in the back so they can sleep, and on the side I'll call it the kid napping van.
Oh, that is great. That's a great name.
Yeah, it's the kidnapping van. I don't see the problem.
Yeah, I love it. All right, so if you guys like our show, go check out wreckmypodcast.com. We have a Redbubble store where you can buy merchandise. You can find our Instagram there. You can find our YouTube channel there. You can also find our Patreon there. So Patreon is going to be a little bit different moving forward. And I think this is the first time I'm telling you guys this as well, is we are going to be doing, instead of every week having a Patreon episode, we are going to be doing one episode a month is for our patrons only. So if you're not a patron, you're going to miss out on a week episode. So that means most months will have 3 just free episodes and then 1 paid episode for our patrons. And
Nice.
And also you get other fun rewards for being a patron, but also every month we're going to bring the raffle back. Where I'm going to do a raffle every month too. So
Nice.
you get a free show, that you get fun rewards, and you also have the potential of getting another reward from a raffle. So that's kind of how our Patreon is going to work moving forward. It's only $1 a month to enter it. Not too bad.
And if you're a patron, don't forget to write in for your movie suggestions.
Yes, we will. If you're at the $20 tier, we have to do it if you suggest the movie. If you're at any other tier, we will most likely do it if you write in. And then finally, if you don't want to spend any money, ratings and reviews are always a great way to support the show. If you give us a review and you send me a picture on Instagram of that, I'll send you a sticker for free. So go do that. All right, guys. Thanks for pumping up the jam with me this week. Pump the jam.
Pump it up.
And we'll talk to you all next week.
I like and I love you all.
Dab.
Wreck My Podcast. Wreck My Podcast.
Well, that's all, folks.
Notorious P.I.G. I forgot about that part. I was going to talk
forgot
about that part
about that
about
too.
how bad that was, but also kind of interesting. Okay, we'll save it for the podcast because we're going to do Space Jam first.
Cool.
I don't think Joe
Okay,
can hear us though, so I'll let him know.
I went to I went to your favorite beer buying place this morning.
Michael's
Your second favorite beer buying place?
Sunrise.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I saw this beer, and I'm all like, I was like, yeah, I'll see if one beer catches my eye. I'm gonna go grab it so we can talk about it in the podcast.
Okay, cool. Coolio.
Is Cam coming?
No, he had to go do something last second, so he's not going to be on the podcast today.
Do we only want to do Space Jam then, since You
No.
guys are the only two that have seen Willy's Wonderland?
No, I think we should just do both of them now. Get them out of the way.
It is not. Enunciate, Kevin. Podcasting.
Here, let's do it. Let's do a clap real quick. 1, 2, 3. Joe. let's do it again.
Do it again.
1, 2, 3. Premature clap from Joe.
I know that sounded weird. I was like,
Yeah, I was like, oh, whoa, it's like lagged the opposite way. All right, cool.
Words in the mouth, teeth in the lips.
Let's
Pernium.
let's do Space Jam
Pernium.
first, so we can get the one that more people probably will care about out of the way first. We'll be fresh on that guy.
Fresh, be fresh.
Just so clean.
Wreck My Podcast.